Back on TC Live, and here is the upcoming schedule. First tournament back since the suspension of play. Palermo in Italy this week. Then next week, we're going to Lexington as well as Prague on the WTA. The ATP Tour resumes with the Western and Southern Open that will be held in New York, same site as the U.S. Open, week of August 21st. Then Istanbul, Kitzbühel, Madrid, Rome, and Roland Garros. After that, still to be determined. A lot still to be determined, John. And what is the latest? Because we've been hearing rumors that the Madrid Open may not be happening. What are you hearing?
Yeah, that would be a function of their COVID surge and of the government recommendation. There was an ATP call today where the players were essentially told, look, don't count on Madrid happening. There may be some cards left to play here, but it looks like Madrid, the official announcement might come tomorrow, but it does look as though Madrid will be off the schedule. You know, it's owned by Jan Tiriac, and there was some question of whether Jan Tiriac would try to have some sort of stare down with government regulators, but it doesn't look that way. As you see from Chris Flaherty's tweet, it looks like the official announcement is coming tomorrow. Again, the ATP players on this call today on Monday morning Eastern time were told don't expect to play Madrid, but we will see if maybe Mr. Tiriac has a trick up his sleeve there.
And what does that mean, John, in terms of Rafa Nadal, who was supposed to play Madrid and then on the way to Roland Garros? Does that change the fact that maybe he'll come to the U.S. now?
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, he is still on the entry list for Cincinnati in the U.S. Open, I'm told. I do think this changes a lot of players' scheduling. I mean, potentially this could add a week to the calendar. I mean, that could change sort of the financial calculus of a lot of these players. I mean, what I'm hearing from a lot of players, nobody wants to play a major cold. So nobody wants to just go in and have their first tournament back be a major. So one thinks that if Nadal could play Rome as sort of a tune-up and then go right to the French Open, that might keep him there. But again, as of now, Rafa Nadal is on North American entry list. And again, that's a good question, Steve. We'll see if he can only play one walk-up event before the French Open, if that changes some of his thinking. Because I think the conventional wisdom is he's reluctant to cross an ocean and come play hardcore tennis. But again, right now, everything is sort of up for grabs and everything's in play. And
Rome, of course, the week directly before Roland Garros. He usually doesn't like to play the week before a major. So we'll see if we get that official announcement about Madrid tomorrow. Chanda, Lexington is happening, the top seed open for the first time ever. And they have quite the lineup of players. Both Williams sisters, Coco Gauff, Aryna Sabalenka, Sloane Stephens. It is stacked for Lexington. But Serena Williams is the headliner, number 9 in the world. We haven't seen her play since the Fed Cup qualifying in February. What do you expect to see from Serena next week?
You know, I think Serena is one of those players that this break could have helped because she's so experienced. She understands what she needs to do to build with fewer matches going into big events. So certainly that should not hamper her as much as it may younger players or players who are used to getting more matches under their belt. And I think just allowing the reset. She's been able to spend more time at home with her family. She started back training in Florida, really locking in on that. So I would expect her to be in really good shape and good spirits mentally and emotionally, and she could be dangerous.
I think this is a perfect event for Serena to come back. I mean, as Chanda said, I mean, this is sort of an event that hasn't happened before. This is the inaugural year. Not a lot of people will be watching. Not a lot of people necessarily will be putting great credence in these events. At the same time, this has really become a stacked field. It's not going to have the pressure of crowds. It's not going to have the pressure of media and other obligations. If you're talking about easing your way back and really gauging where is my game right now, especially for a player of Serena Williams vintage, I think this is really a smart move of her to play this.
Meantime, the wild cards announced today for the Western and Southern Open, and they included some big names on both sides, including former Grand Slam champions like Kim Clijsters, Naomi Osaka, Sloane Stephens, and Venus Williams for the women, Chanda.
Yeah, this is big. And of course, we expected a lot of these players to be looking for matches to get back if they're planning on playing the U.S. Open. And certainly this is blockbuster. You look at the major champions, young Katie McNally, who certainly is a player to watch. Venus Williams still playing some fantastic tennis, coming off of World Teams tennis, as is Sloane Stephens and Kim Clijsters as well. So it'll be interesting to see where somebody like Naomi Osaka is, where her game is as she looks to restart.
And on the men's side, John, Andy Murray, two-time champ at the Western and Southern Open. He gets a wild card, as well as 3 young Americans, Sandgren, Paul, and Tiafoe, guys that we saw in World Team tennis.
Yeah, a little different. 3 players, and the one in the upper left who has been number 1 in the world and has won this event and, of course, has won the U.S. Open that comes next. Then you have 3 Americans. Nice to see Tommy Paul, who's had a bit of a rough go of it with some wild cards, but is certainly deserving on merit. Francis is obviously coming back from that positive COVID test, but he says he's been training. He's with Wayne Ferreira. He's in Maryland, getting back into shape. And then Tennys Sandgren, who, of course, got to the round of 8 at the Australian Open, deserving as well. So interesting foursome, but they're in.
And if they're in the Western and Southern Open, you'd expect to see them at the U.S. Open as well. So a lot of big names scheduled to play later this summer.